I didn't see you there. Do you want to learn about imperialism and how it had a good impact on society from 1750 to 1900? Yeah, you do. Let's get into it.
Look at the beauty of society. All different kinds of people all being one thing. A community. Do you ever wonder how we as a humanity managed to pull this off? Surely this does come from other factors, but one of the biggest ones, and this may surprise you, but it comes from imperialism. Imperialism did expansive things, brought people together, tore them apart, set countries into bankruptcy, brought riches to some countries but not others. But, for example, in 1882 to 1920 in Argentina, the Italians migrated to Argentina after hardships back home in Italy. Argentina, meanwhile, needed roles to be filled like, for example, construction workers. This opportunity did multiple things at once. The Italian population also influenced the Argentinian ways of food and language,
Hola.
Ciao.
and very much not the least, culture. Wow, look at what imperialism did for them as a community. Of course, this brought these two nations closer together, especially since the Italians would travel from Argentina to Italy seasonally. If imperialism caused this cultural exchange, imagine all the good that's been caused too. But sometimes, when cultures combine like the Italians and the Argentinians did, people can feel a little homesick. And that's where another one of the imperialism's charms comes in: ethnic enclaves. Sometimes the best way to make yourself feel at home was to bring home to you. That's what the Chinese did in the 1750s to the 1900s. The Chinese would help take up jobs that the Americans generally didn't want to do, like, for example, mining and agriculture. This sort of migration, due to China's own difficulties with poverty, this is where the idea of bigger and better second chances came to life, where one country was too poor to support its peoples, another country flourished with the necessary jobs, and for example, America. This general movement of people caused all sorts of jobs to be filled, for families who needed jobs to get what they need. Americans wouldn't be as diverse as it is today without imperialism. That's just one of the many wonders of imperialism. The Chinese were not the only ones to come to America. The Irish also came to America due to something called the potato famine. In 1845 to 1852, the Irish experienced a great famine. Potatoes were a staple crop for the Irish, and due to the unfortunate disease within the potatoes, they became inedible.
Ew.
But there were also other issues. Poverty and British policies struck the British harshly, causing both to leave and move to America. The Irish brought infrastructure and Catholicism. Of course, as my last three examples point out, migration was wildly important to the good of imperialism. It brought people, culture, and new forms of community. But what are other forms of good things imperialism did for us? Trade is a massive part of humanity. One of the most important things that had been traded in the time of the 1750s to the 1900s was palm oil. The West Africans took the monopoly of this trade for years. With a monopoly like this, it brought economic wealth to their countries. This sort of monopoly added to the global economy at the time because other countries needed palm oil for their industrial machinery. This monopoly was kept up until the 20th century. Imperialism brought these riches to these people and a monopoly. Imperialism is very easily cash positive as it is socially positive. After the silk trade collapsed in Lebanon, many people needed to migrate. Migration took them to better places where their work would be needed, but there was something special about the Lebanese. The Lebanese brought something new: long walking travel. They could walk massive distances from one place to another. Most of the time they did this for trade, and although they traveled a lot, this doesn't mean that they didn't take time to settle down. Much like the Chinese, Italians, and Irish, they created some of the most diverse ethnic enclaves, even creating their own banking system.
Although poverty was generally bad, it also seemed to bring a lot of people together.
Another community that was impacted and improved by imperialism was the Indians, who needed new opportunities. At the times of 1834 and 1934, the Indians were experiencing a rigid caste system. To escape it, the Indians migrated. One of those places was southern East Africa. They were interested in this railroad, the Kenya-Uganda Railroad. They helped to make the railroad and to get work in progress. Imperialism also brought us permanence. With the movement of people so high in times like these, it brought a lot to the world. For instance, this railroad. This is what imperialism has brought us: gifts from the past. Ports were largely important to global trade. Each country was aiming for some form of rich. That hasn't changed since then, but one of the biggest partnerships in history, and one of the larger forms of imperialism from the British, was the port of Buenos Aires. The British have always been a huge part of history. The British went to Buenos Aires to create a new trade relationship. This would be a hugely important economic relationship for the global economy. The Buenos Aires managed to produce a lot for the British. They amassed in imports and exports, which kept them high in the economic monopoly. This relationship helped boost the British and also increase the welfare of the global trade. Without this sort of imperialism, the world's economy and trading systems will not have been the same. Look at what imperialism has offered for humanity. You see, social imperialism did a lot of good things for the world, and also a lot of bad things. But this video shows that economically, socially, and culturally, imperialism also did a lot of good. So I hope you enjoyed my video, why imperialism socially did a good thing for the rest of the world. I just really quickly wanted to thank everyone who's a part of this production. I know we just did that whole long walk, but I also just really wanted to say everyone in this did really great. I'm really glad they came together for my AP World project. Just wanted to put that out there. Everyone in this was great and amazing. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
shoot, oh
oh my
shoot.
god. Oh my
Sorry,
god.
we do not want this many. We do not need.
No, command box.
Oh
No,
my
command box.
god.
Sorry.
Oh my
I'm just
god.
gonna. I'm just like gonna go back to mine and take a
This is
picture
not
now.
AP World activity. Oh! Oh
Oh.
no! This was not AP World activity.
Oh.